Peterson presents the true adventures of Junior G-Men.
The Junior G-Men are on the air, speeding to your homes, ready for action!
Stand by, all Junior G-Men, stand by for thrilling details of the House of Many Secrets. Calling all Junior G-Men. Stand by for reporter Junior G-Man Jerry March concerning
The House of Many Secrets.
Report number 981 in 3 parts is given by operator Jerry March of Kingsley. Part 1.
A short time ago, my dad was forced to make a weekend business trip to Utica. And although Mom decided to stay at home, she didn't seem to mind my going in the least. Now, I happened to have the morning school session, and so Dad and I were able to leave Kingsley shortly after noontime on Friday. We rode for several hours. And then all of a sudden, along about 7 o'clock in the evening, it began to rain. It was a pretty hard rain, too.
Oh, how about it, Jerry? Getting hungry?
Well, yes, Dad, I guess I am. Don't bother stopping just because of me, though.
Well, we've got to stop sooner or later. It might have just well be sooner. It'll be a relief to pull aside, too.
I should think it would be. Certainly can't be very pleasant driving through this rain.
It isn't, son, not a bit. That's why as soon as we can find a place to stay and get something to eat, we're pulling in for the night.
Then you've changed your mind about going right on through to you?
Yes, Jerry, I have. I'm afraid too much of a grind on a night like this.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that. We'd probably be all in by the time we arrive.
That's just it. Now, this way, stopping at one of those tourist places.
You mean at one of those little cabins?
Yeah, I suppose a cabin would be all right. Although, personally, I'd prefer to stop at one of those old-fashioned houses you see along the road. You know, the sort of place, tourists accommodated, rooms and meals. Oh, those places are usually a good deal more comfortable than most cabins. And I've always found the meals better than average.
Well, you ought to know, Dad. And whatever you say is okay with me.
Well, let's hope we find a place before very long. I'm beginning to feel rather empty, unless I'm very much mistaken.
About 10 minutes later, we sighted a place that looked especially nice. It was a great, big white house almost completely surrounded by trees. There didn't seem to be any other building of any kind in sight. Well, after parking the car in the driveway, we ran up the front steps, knocked at the door, and then...
Well, son, this certainly looks promising, doesn't it?
I'll say it does. In fact, it's just about the nicest place of its kind I've ever seen.
Well, let's hope it's nice on the inside.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Well, we'll soon find out. Oh, that sounds like someone at the door now. Oh, good evening.
Oh, hello.
I saw your sign as I was passing by, and...
What sign?
Oh, your sign, that is... Well, a sign out front.
Oh, that sign. Well, what about it?
Oh, my son and I, we'd like to stop here for the night.
Oh, tourists. You better come in.
Oh, thank you. Come along, son.
Right.
You can set them suitcases right down there.
Oh, very well. I suppose you have a room for us.
I don't know nothing about that, you see. I'm just a hired man.
Oh.
Robbie's my name. Yeah, Robbie.
Oh, I see. About that room.
I'll call Mrs. Potter. Just a minute. Oh, Mrs. Potter! Oh, Mrs. Potter!
What is it, Robbie? What are you shouting for?
Well, a couple of tourists are here, Mrs. Potter. They want a room.
I'll be right down.
All right, Mrs. Potter. She said she'll be right down.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, you.
Talking to me?
Yeah. What's your name?
Jerry March.
Mine's Robbie.
Yeah, I know. You told us.
I did? Honest?
Well, Yeah, you did.
That's funny. I don't remember telling you. It must have slipped my mind. What's that?
You mean this badge on the lapel of my coat?
Yeah. What is it?
Well, it's my Junior G-Man badge.
Oh, shiny, ain't it? Nice and bright and shiny. Almost as shiny as if...
Robbie.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Potter. Honest, I am. I didn't mean to be talking. I just...
You didn't mean for me to be catching you. That's what you didn't mean. So remember what I told you, Robbie. Just remember.
Yes, Mrs. Potter.
And now it's for you.
Hi, good evening.
Tourist, ain't you?
Well, yeah.
And you want a room?
Well, now if you...
I suppose you want a meal, too.
Why,
Well, I thought so. Well, it'll be extra. The meal, I mean.
Oh, of course.
Well, you can straighten things out with my husband. He ain't here just now, Daniel ain't, but he'll be back. Yes, he'll be back. Robbie.
Yes, Mrs. Pollard?
Take them 3 grips up to the front room for the gentleman.
The front room, Mrs. Pollard? The front room?
Yes, Robbie, the front room.
Yes, Mrs. Pollard.
And now, Mr. You didn't tell me your name, did you? And it's time you did. What is it?
Oh, March. James March. This is my son, Jerry.
Your son, eh? Well, he don't look nothing like you. Sure you ain't kidnapped him?
Oh, wow, of course I'm sure. He's my son.
Well, I just wanted to be sure, that's all. Nobody can't be too sure these days, no sirree. Nobody can't be too sure these days. But go on, Mr. March. You and your son just march yourselves up after Robbie. He'll show you to your room.
Well, yes, Mrs. Potter. Well, thank you.
Never mind thanking me. Just see that you don't leave without paying. Now I'll just get you something to eat. I'll call you when it's ready.
Thank you. I mean, well, yes, Miss Polly. Yes, come along, Jerry. Follow me.
And so Dad and I followed Robbie, the hired man, to the front room on the 2nd floor. Then, after pausing for a moment to admire my Junior G-Man badge, he left us. And Dad and I began to unpack a few of our belongings. A few minutes later, Mrs. Potter called us. Said she'd prepared something to eat and insisted that we come right down. Well, we went down all right, and we'd no sooner finished eating than Mr. Potter himself walked in. Dad immediately made arrangements with him about our bill. And then we all went into what the Potters called the front parlor. While we were sitting there...
So you're on your way to Utica.
That's right, Mr. Potter.
I went to Utica myself once. As friend's just a boy. Remember what it was like as yesterday, though. Yes, sir, just like it was yesterday. All them tall buildings...
You're talking too much, Daniel. Just the same as always.
Yeah? What's that, Abby?
You heard me, Daniel Potter, and I know you did. Now shut up.
But, Abby,
Shut up.
Now, you look here, Abby. I ain't going to stay... What's that?
Sounds like someone knocking at the door.
Well, I know that, Abby. Of course I do. But who's doing the knocking?
There ain't but one way to find out, Daniel Potter, and you'd better get a move on.
But, Abby,
You'd better get a move on.
Yes, Abby. I'll be right back, Mr. Mark.
Very well, Mr. Potter.
I'm coming again. I'll be right back.
Well, son,
Yes, Dad?
how about it? Almost ready to turn in?
Whenever you say, Dad, I'm just waiting for you.
All right, then. Suppose we just...
Mr.
Go right
March,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yes, Mrs. Potter.
there's something you ought to know, Mr. March. It's something I got to tell you.
Yes?
It's about Robbie. You mustn't mind him, Mr. March, and you mustn't believe nothing he tells you. You see, he's a little touched in the head.
Oh, I see.
He imagines things and tells about them. But you can't believe him. You mustn't.
Oh, I understand.
It ain't his fault, of course, and we feel sorry for him. That's why we...
So just step in the parlor, Mr. Brand. We'll have everything all straightened out in 2 shakes of lamb's tail. Just step this way, please.
All right, thank you.
This is Mr. Brand, Abby. Mr. Michael Brand.
Thank you. How do you do, Mrs. Potter?
Hello.
You don't remember him, do you, Abby? Well,
I'm afraid you're mistaken, Potter. I'm under the impression your charming wife does remember me.
Do you, Abby? Do you?
Yes, Daniel, I do. 'Twas 3 years ago.
A night like this, a bad night, and I arrived at about the very same time. Your hired man showed me to a room on the 2nd floor. A front room, I believe.
Yes, front room. I remember that myself.
I should like to have that very same room tonight, if I can.
It can't. It's occupied.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but this gentleman, Mr. March, and his boy.
Oh, I see. Well, I don't suppose it matters very much, does it?
I don't see why it should. After all, when you was here the first time, you didn't stay long enough to get used to that one particular room, and, well, we got others just as good.
I'm sure of that, Potter. Quite sure.
Well, then you'll stay.
Well, why not? Why not indeed? Yes, Potter. Yes, of course I'll stay. Of course I'll stay. I'll be glad.
But it was only a short time later that Dad and I decided to go on up to our room and turn in for the night. Then, as we were getting ready for bed...
Oh, who's there?
It's me, Mr. March, Potter.
Oh, come in, Mr. Potter. Come right in.
Thank you. So...
Now, Mr. Potter, what can I do for you?
Oh, nothing. Just stopped in to see if there's anything you wanted.
Oh, not a thank you. Everything's quite all right. Oh, Jerry and I are a little worried, though.
Worried, Mr. March? Why?
Well, we feel that perhaps we should have offered to let Mr. Brent have this room. We could have moved to another.
Oh, wouldn't worry about that, Mr. March. Tain't that important. He's a funny fellow, though, that Mr. Brand.
Funny? What do you mean by that?
Oh, don't know exactly. It's just the way he acts, I guess. Take last time he came here, for instance. It was the first time we'd ever seen him. We ain't never seen him since. Not until tonight. He had this room, but he didn't stay in it. Not even one night.
I don't understand.
Well, neither could we, Abby and myself. No, sir, we just couldn't understand it. See, it was along about 3 o'clock in the morning that they came and...
They?
His friends. They made me take them to this room and, well, there was nothing else that I could do, and they was a pretty tough-looking friends of his'n, and well, I wasn't taking any chances.
Well, gosh, what happened?
Well, they woke him up and talked to him quite a while, and I heard him. Oh, not that I was eavesdropping, you understand, but, well, they was talking pretty loud, just like they was fighting.
And were they?
Well, they couldn't have been, because they all left together, and they seemed to be mighty friendly.
You say they all left together?
Yep, all of them together, Brent and his 2 friends.
So Mr. Brent went with them. Funny, very funny.
Yeah, that's what we thought, Abby and me. We could never figure out why he didn't stay until morning.
And he never came back?
Not until tonight. But what do you make of it, Mr. March?
Now that you and Jerry made a mystery of it, I don't know what to say. I suppose, though, there must be a perfectly logical explanation of things having happened as they did. Oh, but what's the use of discussing it? It's all over and done with. Part of the past.
Yeah, but what about the present?
What do you mean, Jerry?
Well, why did Mr. Brent return to this place 3 years after his first visit? And why did he want the same room, this room? What is there about this room that... What was that?
You know, it sounded like a shot to me. Yep, that's what it sounded like. A shot.
Stand by. All Junior G-men, stand by. Stand by for thrilling details concerning the next broadcast. Calling all Junior G-men to proceed at once to points of duty. Calling Junior G-man 981 to report to Director Donald Peterson at the next meeting on this station to give detailed report concerning...
The House of Many Secrets.